Right, as you can see, I finished that band with the sequins. Now, isn't it lovely? And if you get your viewer, if you think about this as a standalone piece, it's hard to appreciate it on the bigger thing. But if you imagine it like that, properly edged and mounted in whatever vehicle I decide to mount it in, when I get to the end of this. So there, that looks a bit... Do you know what I've done there? Can you see there? When I've scored it with my needle, it's kind of worn it away a little bit at the back. I have to be careful of that. What I think I'll do is I'm going to mark with pencil, I guess, instead, because it's silk, it's more vulnerable. But if you can see, it's kind of like, you probably can't see, but it's opening a little bit there, so I need to be careful of that. Right, so I want to mark out another window for my next stitch on here. So don't forget what I said about leaving enough space for cutting it out and hemming it. So I'm going to do a pencil, because with it being silk, I hadn't considered that it might... I mean, silk is actually a very strong fibre and a very strong fabric, but perhaps it just doesn't like being scored. So that's my line that's finished there. Leave that much for damp stretching, that much for damp stretching. So I'll put this one about here. Okay. Now I haven't got any Gutterman at the table, but maybe I should get some. Because what you need to do, you obviously can't see this from the front. So like I said before, you need to baste around this with Gutterman and then it's visible from the front. Okay. It's actually going to be a bit of an issue, this. Because the next stitch I want to do, I'm going to have to think. The next, oh, I haven't marked the top. The next stitch I want to do requires, oh no, I have marked it at the top. Requires the marking out of lines, equidistant lines. So I've got some grids here that should make that easier. So let's have a look. So if I line this up with the top, it needs to be straight. So I'm going to line the edge here with the holes there, and line that there with the top. So I know that's straight now. So I need 2 sets of equidistant lines. So if I go through these dots like this, right? I don't think I've done that right. I think it's that's alright, it's near's done it. I wonder, can I see that from the front? Well, maybe. I really don't want to stitch this bit with Gutterman because I don't want to struggle to get the Gutterman out afterwards. So I'm going to do a heavy line, see if I can see it from the front, because it'll be covered with a stitch anyway. No, I can't. I'm going to have to Gutterman them. So now I need the same again, a little bit away from it, because I want to do 2 rows of these stitches, don't I? It needs to be straight. What I'm doing here is lining up the dots, the top and the side. So, I mean, the measuring and things of your work can be equally as time consuming as the stitching, but I really don't have a problem with that because this is part of the process that I like. All this is embroidery to me and it's all equally as important and equally as pleasurable. So So I'm going to Gutterman these lines. So I've got some behind me. So I've got 2 rows there. That's actually quite central, which is something I've been trying to avoid, if you remember. So I'll just measure it and see exactly how central it is. That's my outer line. So the first one is 1 inch in. Well, I guess it's not, because the second one's 1.5 inches, so it's not as central as I feared. So I'll get a sharp needle. So what I want to do now is raise chain band, and the thing about that is it's not overly complicated, but it's not a stitch that I'm used to. So although I've practiced it before, I haven't done it ritually like I do bullion knots and things, so I'm probably going to have to refer to the book. Let me just stitch these. I'm not going to overstitch or knot this because I want it to be easy to remove, as easy as possible to remove. So I'm just doing 1 little stitch along the length of that mark so that that is visible at the front. Okay, and I'll do the same on the other side as well. I can move this board now. Let's come out the needle, that's clever. So I'm not going to knot it off or anything. So I've got 1, 2, I've only got 5 actually. I thought I only had 4, but I've got this. What's happened there? I thought I only had 4, but I've got 5. Just let me put the sound off my phone. So. Now those of you who've been doing my classes for 300 years, you know who you are. We are going to be covering stitches that you can do in your sleep, because there's new people in this class who've never done a bullion knot in their lives, so I do have to do those kind of things as well. I hope you understand that, the need for that. So let's go up here again and do the second row. And I'm a little bit anxious about this stitch because I haven't done it over and over again, and it is quite complicated. Well, it's not really complicated, but I'm not very good with in fact, you know what? I'm silly, I'm going to take them out because you know what? You get everything warts and all in this class. For the newbies, if I do something not necessarily wrong, but if I have a bit of an epiphany halfway through and I realise that I could have done X, Y or Z, then I will just unpick it and do X, Y or Z. So ignore what I've said about that Gutterman, because with this stitch, the bars need to be there before you start stitching. So I could have done those bars. I've got my pencil marks on the back, but I can actually stitch the bars in cotton embroidery because they all stay there, they all need to be there. So mark it on the back for your bars, and again it's raised chain band if you want to Google it. I'm thinking, you know, it's silly, I should just take you a picture of this, I guess. Because it's not, I'm not publicly abusing this person's copyright, am I? It's only on our private blog. So ignore what I said in the first video. I'll take you a picture of the diagram and put it on, and the same for the open chain stitch, I think. That's going to be the best thing to do. So right, so put a knot in your thread, broader. Get your hoop. So I'm working from the back, but I'll still put it in the hoop the right way and work from the back. tighten that up. Right, so I'm going to go down from the back, because what's important is that these lines are on the front. So come up at that edge of that line and do exactly what I did with the Gutterman, only do it in broader. Now you could do these closer together, these lines. You can do them as close together or as far apart as you want. In fact, that might be an idea for sampling, to try them different distances apart, to try some that are very close, and to try some that are further spaced. Okay, Henrietta knot, fasten that side off before I do the other side. Aye. Now because we're going on for 12 weeks, this class is only intended to be one post a week, an hour's video a week. But the first week I'll come back again at the weekend, and then we'll continue weekly after that. So again, exactly the same across the lines on the other side, so that when I turn this over, that isn't far enough, that one. When I turn this over, these will all be visible from the front. Okay, now I guess I'm fastening off here between lines. If you're just working this in a continuous line, I guess you could do your lines like that and then turn over and keep your thread attached and do the rest with the same piece of thread. But because I want two rows of stitch, I'm struggling with Henrietta knot because of that plaster. I've hurt my finger. Because I want to do 2 rows of stitch, I'm fastening it off. And I'm going to get another piece of thread, or a longer piece. I want to give myself a fighting chance to get down here without needing more thread. So can't even thread my needle. So how far apart are they, you might be wondering. I'll measure that for you in a second. So we thread my needle and put a knot in it. Right, turn it over. They are an exact ½ inch apart, so that must be the distance between. Where's the thing? They must be ½ inch apart as well, the grids I used off there. So, right, so you're coming up from the back. Okay, I'm going to get the book. We've all got to learn sometimes. So up in the middle at A, which is A. Okay, I'm going to have to move that so that I can see it there. And then you go in under, like that. Okay, so you're coming up at the top of the bar, that's A. Then you're going under the bar, like that. So you're doing like a little wrap on that bar, and then you loop your thread round like that. Okay, and then you come under at A again, under this loop. Is it under this loop? No, let me just check. No, sorry, over the loop. So you're over the top there, and then you're coming over again, and you're going under this one and letting that loop go underneath the needle. That's not right. That's not right, sorry. So I've come up at A, okay, here, let's start again. I come up at A there, that's right. And then so you're coming down again now, under the the bar. So you're not going through the cloth, you're just going under the bar, over this loop, that's it, and pulling it like that. And then you just repeat that. So you're going down there, no, you're going down over the loop now, over the bar, sorry, and under there, that's it. Got a bit of black fluff on there. This would look incredible actually if these were closer together. Right, so and then down again over the top of the loop and pull it. Alright, so we'll do that again. So you come in over this time. Your first one is the only one you come over the bar. After that you come under the bar like that, says she. So under the bar, yeah, so your starting point is under the bar like that, and then you make the loop, you go under the bar again, that's not right, is it? Is it? So you go, oh, I'm wrong, ignore what I said. It isn't, the first time you come down isn't the only time you go over. You go on over, you go, I told you I was useless. We'll get there eventually though. Right, so I would love to come here and seamlessly do this stitch as if I was an expert, but I'm not, and I can't pretend to be an expert. So I think I could sanitize this video and do it over and over and over again so I got it perfect, but that won't help you, it won't help me. And I do think that me struggling with this stitch will inevitably help you. So you're coming under again, okay, like that, so that your long thread is in the centre there, okay. Then you're going under that way now, so you've got where you come up there on the left, you've got your long thread in the centre, and you're going under now on the right with the loop. So take your needle over the loop there, okay. So hopefully I'll do the next one properly. So you're going under from the bottom, from the lower edge of the bar, to go under from the bottom like that. So then your long thread is in the centre, and then on the right come under from the top of the bar. So yeah, come under from the top of the bar and over the top of that loop of thread. Alright, so again you go under from the lower half of the bar, okay, so from the bottom of the bar under to the top of the bar, your long thread is in the centre, and then on the right you go under the bar from the top of the bar as opposed to the bottom of the bar that you did on the left, and then you do that, okay. And then to finish that off you just take that through to the back. Now my plan was to do one here with sequins on, but I think in all seriousness I need to do all that again to see if we can do it right. Well, if I can do it right from the very beginning, and then do another row with sequins after I've done that, after I've actually done it properly without mucking it up. So Henrietta knot, I'm doing 3 there because I didn't quite get it at the bottom of the thread. It wasn't quite touching the fabric. So if I put a knot in this thread, so that will mean I need to mark more lines in a second, but that doesn't matter. I'd rather get this bob on with you and make a good job of this with you. Now I'm wondering if the second stitch no, it's exactly the same for every stitch. Right, so to start off, so if I pull in a little bit, so come up at here, which is centre at the top of the bar, okay. Then from the bottom of the bar, take your needle under and up Okay, so what you've got now is like a little wrap in the middle there, and your thread loose on the left, and then from the right, from the top of the bar, take your needle down, making sure your thread's looped, and that thread comes out on top of that loop like that. And then again, go under the bottom of the bar like that. So you've got your long bit in the middle, okay, your long thread. On the left you've gone from the bottom under to the top. On the right you go from the top under, and again with your loop at the bottom. With your loop, you thread over your loop there like that. Okay, does that make sense? So under from the bottom of the bar and bring it out like that. Then loop your thread, hold it with your thumb, and on the right hand side you go under the bar from the top. That's better. Okay, so the first one in the next stitch you go from the bottom of the bar underneath, hold it with your thumb so you get a loop, then you go from the top of the bar underneath like that. Okay, so again from the bottom of the bar go under like that. Okay, hold it with your thumb, and then from the top of the bar go under and catch that loop, and then to finish it off just do a little stitch down there. So what I'll do now is I'll mark some more out, but I think I might do them closer together and put sequins on them. Now I really don't want this to be central, so I'm going to try and mark my little lines on this side here, down here. So what I'll have to do is just drop my needle case on the floor. Get my board, take it out the hoop. So I want them here. See what I've got here in terms of, I think they're closer together, those ones. But I want them to start and finish in the same place. Sorry. Where's the... Right. I want them to start and finish in the same place. So I'm going to use these ones, which are a 1/4 of an inch apart, just over a 1/4 of an inch apart. So if I try and line all this up somehow, I need it to be straight. So if I actually now what I'm doing to straighten this is the holes at the other area of the grid, I'm lining them up, so if they're straight it follows that this is straight. So but I want these to be the same, start and finish on the same level, which I can't because it doesn't quite work that way. So I'll have them slightly centred. I just got my ruler and measure between there and the edge of my... So what are you doing, Karen? That's from there to 1/2 centimetre. From there, you'll see it's not straight. I'm measuring these holes against my pencil line under there. From there to 1/2 centimetre. From there to 1/2 centimetre. Right, that's it I think. So now what I need to do is mark these. These are slightly closer together. Still only got a 5 though, but they are closer together. So, and they're not, they don't run exactly along the lower and upper edge of the previous two, but they're within the boundaries of the previous two. For presentation purposes, if they extended beyond the previous two, I wouldn't like that aesthetically. So that's why I've done them within the outer edges of those first two. So I need to do my bars now, get my needle case off the floor. So what you need to be thinking about is how you might want to, but you'd actually know you don't need to worry yet about, what have I done with that needle? What's there? You don't need to worry yet about how you're going to present these. Just decide on a format and mark out some cloth and begin to stitch little samples like this on that cloth. Because these are all going to be damp stretched and then cut out and hemmed, but I don't know what I'm going to do with the reverses of them yet, or the edges of them yet. So what's probably going to happen is I will just end up with a lot of bits of cloth like this, with 3-inch squares with embroidery stitches in them, until I decide how I'm going to present them as a finished collection. But it's nice to work on the little samples and just build that little store of samples up to know that sometime in the future you're going to put them in some kind of really unique presentation situation. Right, so they are. So that's the top. Where's that window? No. So that won't look ridiculous. I know maybe there could be one here, but it would hang below that one probably. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'll get another bit of thread. I can't believe it's took me half an hour to do this. And I need to put sequins on. So what I'm going to do is turn off and start a different file, because otherwise this is going to turn itself off when I'm halfway through the sequin bit, and I don't want that to happen. So I'll just turn off and you won't even know I've gone. Right, I've got my 5 sequins here on a little bit of white card. So what I'm going to do now is do the same thing again, but I need to figure out the best time to put the sequins on, don't I, in the process. So I've got my cotton embroidery and a sharp needle, and I've got a knot in the end, so I'll come up again at A, and let's go under from the bottom, okay, and then create that loop. Now I'm thinking probably now is the time for the sequin, like last time. So now I'm not going to use these sequins through my whole sampling experience, but for now I want a bit of cohesion. So from the bottom, put it on your needle under, then bring it over, the thread over, and keep your finger on it for the loop, moving your sequin up to nearly the top before from the top coming down again, okay, from the top going under the bar like that, and then your long thing is in the middle. So from the bottom, go under like that, and then put your sequin on before you make your little loop, and push it up to the end of the thread. I might try and join this video together, see if it'll combine with the first one, so it's not a long one and a short one, if you know what I mean. And then from the top, go under the bar to the right of your long strand, move your sequin round a bit if you can, like that, okay, and then from the bottom, go under, bring your needle up to the left from the bottom, so there's your long strand in the middle. And on the right of your long strand, from the top, Go down again. Put your sequin on first, Karen. I'll put your sequin on. Before you make your loop. And then from the top, go down under the bar and pull. The sequins move some alright. So take your needle again, go under from the bottom and bring it out to the left. Okay. Put your sequin on. It seems to be leaning one way, this, doesn't it? I'll have to try and have a look at that in a minute. It seems to have a bit of a lean on it. Put your sequin on. Maybe it's the sequins making it look like that. Now on the right of your long bar, go down under the bar from the top. So on the right of your long thread, sorry, go down from the top of the bar underneath, like that. Okay. And then come under again. Bring your needle out on the left of the bar, so that's your long strand in the middle. Put your sequin on again. And then from the top of the bar to the right of your long strand, go underneath and down. And then to fasten it off, just take it through to the back and fasten it off like that. Looks like it's actually, it looks alright now. I think it was a sequin making it look unbalanced, but it looks okay now. So that's my first 2 stitch samples done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to damp stretch them. I'm going to make you a damp stretching video and talk to you about damp stretching. Because again, I know some of you can do this in your sleep, but there are new people in this class that won't know how to damp stretch. But I have got now 2 lovely little samples already. And I'm very excited about them actually. So let me just get my window. It's nice to get your window and have a look. Yeah. Aren't they nice? And when they're damp stretched and mounted and placed in whatever I decide to place them in, when I've made that decision, they're going to look amazing, trust me. So I'm going to turn off and I'm going to get ready for damp stretching. I'm going to damp stretch this. Okay.